Hello and welcome to Newsmakers for this Wednesday, November 6, 2024. I'm Louie Butko, and on today's show, very pleased to be joined by the CEO of Carmens Group, PJ Mercanti. A very proud Hamiltonian, Mercanti oversees Carmens Group's portfolio that includes Carmens Event Center, Sea Hotel by Carmens, Lakeview, Arlington Hotel, Fig and Lemon, Hamilton Convention Center, as well as Mercanti's specialty foods. In addition, they lead the general partnership of the Hamilton Urban Precinct Entertainment Group, or HUPEG, of which he's the president. The private consortium contracted to renovate and operate FirstOntario Centre, FirstOntario Concert Hall, and the Hamilton Convention Center, work of which is well underway. In addition, Mercanti passionate about the community he calls home, as he serves as a partner of the Hamilton Cardinals and founding member and past chair of the Hamilton Tourism Development Investment Group. That's a long way of putting, PJ. You got your hands in a lot of things in the city of Hamilton, but more importantly, you care about what happens here. Where did that passion for this city come from?
It came from my father, my mother, my uncles. The families immigrated from Italy into Hamilton in the mid-50s and just embraced Hamilton and all that it has to offer. So my father was, I'd like to think, one of the first true Hamiltonians. We'd be on vacation, and other people would instinctively say, you know, when they're telling people where they're from, oh, I'm from Toronto, or my father always said I'm from Hamilton, Ontario. And so people would say, where's that? And then he'd say, okay, it's near Toronto, Niagara Falls, but I'm from Hamilton. But we've, you know, long been a part of the community, love Hamilton, you know, live and breathe it. And so I give my father and my uncles a lot of the credit for our Hamilton passion.
Well, and it is one thing, we've seen people have success with businesses here in Hamilton, you know, prosper and do really well, and then decide to leave Hamilton. And even if it's not far, you know, they look for a nice property somewhere else. Not to say, you know, you're not living somewhere nice, but to actually still call this place home, to send your kids to school here, to be a part of it. The Hamilton Cardinals, that's to be like, I'm giving you your props here, but why? Why stay here?
You know what? It's a great question, and there's so much that Hamilton offers, especially for families, for entrepreneurs, and so we fell in love with everything Hamilton offers. You know, I'm fortunate to have a beautiful wife and 3 kids. We love going for walks, you know, along the various trails and waterfalls in Hamilton, the waterfronts, and as a business person, Hamilton has tons of opportunity right now. We're Canada's 9th largest city, and we sometimes forget that. And so I think there's, you know, the next generation is going to be the most impactful for this community. And so we're excited to be part of that ride, and we just see great things happening in the city that we love.
And we'll talk about HUPEG for sure. But to that point of you see great things happening in the city, you guys have been a part of the city for so long, you guys being Carmens Group. Does it feel like you've been making this pitch for a while that there are great things on the horizon? There are, like, it feels like at a certain point, like you've been saying this for years, but now it feels real a little bit.
You're bang on, and the visions are starting to materialize and be realized. And so it's been a tough road. It certainly hasn't been easy, you know, and there's bumps along the way, but we're now getting to the point where I think breakthrough is possible, and it's happening. And you know, we're fortunate that with the downtown entertainment district project that things are moving. But I think as a city, you know, there are, even though there's still issues that we need to contend with and deal with and manage and solve for, and the right minds are at the table to help solve for it, there's a lot of great things on the go in Hamilton, and you know, there's a great regional opportunity that Hamilton has to be able to take advantage of, right? You know, Toronto is growing. From Toronto to Niagara Falls, tons of growth is going to happen, and we're dab smack in the middle of it. So I think Hamilton is benefiting from our great geography, but at the same time, you know, I think we're at an inflection point, and right now is the time when the moniker, the ambitious city, there's a lot of Hamiltonians that want to see us grow into that ambitious city and realize it. So it's happening now, thankfully.
HUPEG is something that, you know, I say all the time, but the Hamilton Urban Precinct Entertainment Group is the name. It's a collective of partners. What was that pitch like, getting people involved in this? As one of the lead organizations, that being Carmens, already had a connection with the Hamilton Convention Center. How did you pull these people in? What was your pitch to them to sell it?
It was a pitch around the potential and the future of the city. And they, you know, we're fortunate through the business that Carmens does to have great relationships with many different business people and community partners. And so I approached a number of them, who include everybody from the Paletta family and my uncle Sam Mercanti from CarStar and Mercanti Management, Paul Vaccarello, Cheto Sobots, the Jasper Kajavsky was one of the early partners of it, and we're working in alignment with a lot of other great community organizations and builders like the Leunas and the FirstOntarios and the Meridians, and so we've got a great network that we're working with. But we essentially pitched them on the idea that this could happen, and they bought into the vision, and we have a philosophy and an ethos that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And using that mindset of aligning with, you know, great people, that's what prompted us to connect with Oakview Group and Live Nation and that broader ecosystem of partners to take the redevelopment opportunity to the next level. And so we were fortunate with our core group that we were ready to make the more modest investment in the entertainment assets, but through aligning with great partners like Oakview Group and Live Nation, we're now able to scale that investment for the greatest good of the community.
Can you explain the significance of Oakview Group? Because I think a lot of people might hear it, might think, okay, yeah, they have a success building arenas. What did it mean for HUPEG, for yourself, to get them to commit to something they had never done, an arena in Canada?
Right.
They had done a couple of projects in the UK, obviously big in the US, but to get Tim Leiweke on board, Oakview Group, what was the significance of that? And explain the significance of just OVG in general.
Oakview Group, they are the world's largest and best developer of arena assets. So having the world's best plant a flag in Hamilton is tremendous. And Tim Leiweke and Oakview Group, they know the market. Tim's the former CEO of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, and he, before that, he was with AEG, and through his role with AEG, I think he was there for 20 years, give or take. He made tons of connections in the sport and entertainment industry. So bringing some of the best connected people in sports and entertainment to the city to help us champion this project was immense. And not only is it capital that Oakview Group is bringing to the table, but it's industry relationships and a shared vision for seeing Hamilton realize its potential. And Oakview Group has done this. They've built, I believe, 5 or 6 arenas in the United States, and they've had a lot of similar projects to Hamilton. They renovated an arena in Baltimore and have done great things there. Austin, Texas. And so the Hamilton project is similar to projects that they've done in the United States and across the pond in the UK. I was in Manchester experiencing a Pearl Jam concert this past June, and the Manchester arena is tremendous and has transformed that part of the city, and Oakview Group led that. So they've got great expertise and industry relationships that they bring to the city of Hamilton that is second to none.
You mentioned Live Nation as a partner as well, because I can remember I was doing a little checking the tape here, went back to a council meeting back in September 2023, really the first time you, Lou, and the HUPEG Group presented your vision for the downtown arena. And there was one line that stuck out to me that I know you've repeated, but Hamilton was built on steel, but it's going to be built on rock and roll.
We made this. We built the city on steel. We'll rebuild the city on rock and roll.
On rock and roll.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that line because yes, entertainment is going to be such a huge part to this facility. What was the reasoning behind making this, even if it doesn't have an anchor tenant? Which, as of right now, it doesn't. There's some discussions, but as of right now, what was the main idea behind making entertainment the main tenant of this new arena?
So Oakview Group has great experience with live music in many of their venues, and the Austin Arena, the Baltimore Arena are doing, the Moody Center and the CFG Bank Arena are doing great with their live music, and it's a bit of a mindset shift where there's an opportunity with live entertainment right now. Touring is booming, so the touring industry is booming. You look at the Taylor Swift phenomenon, and the reality is artists today require tours for their income. The CD sales are not a thing, so touring is a big part of it. So really, there's an opportunity in this market. Oakview Group, Tom Pistori, the great president of OVG Canada, and Tim have spoken to the fact that in markets like New York and LA, there's 4 or 5 major venues accommodating the music acts, but in the greater Toronto-Hamilton area, outside of Scotiabank, there's really no modern facilities. And so there's an opportunity to have Hamilton be that second premier music facility, but the vision is to definitely activate it beyond music. So the vision is to have more events, programs throughout the arena, but music is going to be treated as an anchor tenant, as OVG has stated, and have the type of infrastructure required to accommodate musicians and tours. So the back of house that makes it easier for loading in and loading out for the tours. Dedicated dressing rooms for the artists and performers that they can use. That's not a hockey locker room. We'll still have those, but it'll be curated for the musician and the music fan. And so that's one of the game-changing elements that this arena renovation project will bring.
We talked about the tourism investment group as well that you were working with, that you founded as well. Can you just touch on what sort of events FirstOntario was doing big shows. They always were right until the very end. They were just hosting major events. But what could this new facility potentially, when we're talking events, things of large scale that this facility could attract that maybe it couldn't have before?
So the goal is to bring more national marquee events to Hamilton for both entertainment and sport. There's an opportunity, I think, for us to leverage the success of past great events that have happened in Hamilton. We had the Canadian Country Music Awards here twice in the last 6 years, in 2018 and 2023. We had the Junos in 2015. We've had so I think there's an opportunity to have more events like that. We had mind you, they weren't in this specific arena, but Tim Hortons Field hosted a FIFA match and the NHL Heritage Classic. Hamilton Golf had the Canadian Open. So there's an opportunity for Hamilton to really make an impact nationally. This arena will be a magnet to bring more marquee events like the ones I had mentioned and more back to Hamilton. And with the new hotels that have been built in Hamilton and the great restaurants that are here in Hamilton, we're now an attraction. We're becoming a destination, and the fact that Tourism Hamilton has secured a lot of these great events over the last half dozen years is a testament to Hamilton's potential.
Carrie Underwood at the
Carrie Underwood.
Before the Grey Cup last year.
Absolutely.
That one sticks out. To that point, though, there are concerns about downtown. I'm sure you've heard them. I'm sure you see them. What would you say to someone who, at this moment right now, says, "I don't care how nice you make that place, I'm not going downtown"?
So there is a true effort right now that's happening where business stakeholders, community leaders, social service agencies are coming together to try to provide support to the city to help manage the problem and manage this issue that we're trying to contend with. Hamilton's not alone, so one thing to keep in mind is, every city across North America is dealing with this. We're not isolated, with regards to these issues. I know that I've got friends in Chicago, I've got friends in New York, I've got friends in Toronto, and they're all saying the same thing. So downtowns across North America are experiencing this. Hamilton is one other city that is having these types of issues, but we're confident that the right minds are at the table to help solve for the issue where we, obviously council has started to look at this, and they've made some concerted efforts towards solving for the temporary shelters right now. So that is one solution. So kudos to the city and leaning into providing that type of support, and we will continue to work with the social service agencies around how can we support you in solving for this? How can we find compassionate ways to support the needs of the community members that are suffering and struggling with addiction and mental health issues and shelter issues? But we've got a lot of people around the table to help solve for this, so that way in 1 year from now, when the arena and the convention center are going to be renovated, that it's a transformed downtown.
So do you foresee Salvation Army staying where it is?
So the Salvation Army are such an important community asset in that they are doing God's work. They are doing work for people in this community that is so important. So there needs to be a place for Salvation Army in the city of Hamilton, because the work that they do is too important. Lou and I, Lou Fraporti, who I work closely with, and I have toured the Salvation Army and seen their facilities, and they're beautiful people, doing the programming and the work there that is so essential. So the Salvation Army, they're an important community partner that we're working with, around the district, the whole district vision with the Carmens that Lou and our team are actively engaged with, and so we'll work with the Army around providing them support and ensuring that they can continue to offer the important services that they do for Hamiltonians for the next generation.
Within the next hour or so, the Mayor of Hamilton, Andrew Horwath, is meeting with the Minister of Transportation here in Ontario to talk about the not the first steps, the middle steps of a very, very long book that is LRT.
Sure.
You are investing a lot in your coalition of companies. HUPEG itself are investing a lot of money into downtown Hamilton right now. The LRT is something that is going to take some time to build, that is going to cause some headaches. What is your concern level with LRT? How excited are you about LRT? When I bring up those words, light rail transit, what comes to your mind?
It's short-term pain for long-term gain. So we recognize, that there will be, temporary disruption to some of the transportation routes. But the good thing is that there's more than one way to get to the downtown entertainment assets, be it the arena, the concert hall, or the convention center. And so I do know that York Boulevard is being repaved right now. That's a great gateway into downtown Hamilton for folks traveling from Toronto, Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga into the arena. The West Harbour GO station is a great way for allowing people from outside of the city to get into downtown, and so we feel confident that there's still going to be great ways to get from outside of the city into the city. We know that there's going to be great other ways to get into the core, and while that King Street corridor or Main Street corridor, depending on which part of the route you're traveling on, there will be some short-term disruption, but we recognize that that's part of building a city, right? And so you need to have world-class cities have world-class transportation, and so it's a short-term pain for a long-term gain opportunity. But ultimately, we're excited at the prospect of having people from McMaster travel into downtown quickly, people from the east side of the city traveling into downtown. So from a long-term perspective, it's a great thing for the city. But obviously, we need to figure out how to minimize the impacts in the short term. So I'm sure that there's great minds around the table that are going to figure out how to minimize the disruption that this causes to ensure that the retailers downtown, the business owners, the other folks that conduct business downtown can still do it in a way where it doesn't seem overly onerous. And other cities have done it. Kitchener, Waterloo, they've figured it out. There wasn't the massive alarm with regards to disruption there. So we want to try our best to figure out the best practices that those cities had in place, bring them to Hamilton, but as a whole, we're in support of the positive benefits that LRT would bring.
When you go downtown, do you see the Commons? Like, do you see it? Right? I mean, because right now there are parking lots that you envision as residential or brand new apartments or things like that, when you go down there, is it sort of like wearing VR goggles that you see your vision, or is it still working its way? Is it still chipping away?
No, so the vision is, and it's a city vision in the sense that there's going to be a lot of different stakeholders at the table that are going to help to realize it. But I see it in the sense that, you know, the connective tissue to make the walk from City Hall to the Concert Hall, to the Art Gallery, to the Convention Center, to the arena, to the restaurants along James Street, or King William, or Augusta, or Hess Village. You know, I see it. It's going to take a bit of time, but there is an opportunity right now to literally transform what the public realm looks like, the walk from the different, you know, entertainment areas of the core. And so we see it. We've got a great working relationship with Jackson Square and their management team. We're looking forward to working with the farmers market around what does activation of the farmers market look like along York Boulevard that could provide support and animate the arena and the other you know, great assets and residential developments in the core. So I think the next 5 years will be tremendous in transformative opportunity for this Commons vision to be realized. So it's going to be exciting, but I definitely see it. Even though it's, you know, there's work to be done, the foundation is being laid right now to then realize on that vision. It's starting with the arena and the Convention Center reno and the Concert Hall reno, but it's going to, you know, obviously spill over to other parts of the public realm.
Lots of work going on. We were showing some of the footage. Even that was a month old, so I'm sure it's almost unrecognizable, that being the inside of FirstOntario Center. Timelines, Q4 2025 for the arena, on time, on budget, and same with the Hamilton Convention Center. Where are we when it comes to these renovation projects?
So I know that OVG had the media tour at the arena back a month or so ago, and so obviously great things happening there, and they've got a wonderful world-class team executing that renovation project with OVG's leaders and Ellis Don and the other partners. Convention Center, we literally got first set of permits in hand last Friday, so we had submitted them back in September. Permits are in hand. Some work has begun in parts of the facility that did not require permits, but now we've got some permits in hand. Substantial commencement will start end of this year, early next year at the Convention Center, targeting end of 2025 to complete that. And the Convention Center is going to be getting a head-to-toe refurbishment as well, with new floors, new walls, new lighting, first-class amenities, a new coffee shop and wine bar accessible from Summers Lane, a new facade, a walkway that will bring it from the Sheridan Hotel Bridge right into the lobby, more natural light. There's a lot of parts of the facility that we want to just remove some beams to allow more natural light into the venue. And so there's going to be a complete transformation of that venue that I think will make people very excited. And it's going to be a multi-purpose space. So obviously conventions and major meetings and events will be you know, the main driver, but hosting other sporting events and boxing matches and other activations, consumer shows will be a part of the strategy for the Convention Center, and I think the public will be pleased once that renovation's done too.
I saw my first Art Cal show at the Hamilton Convention Center before they went big. They were in one of the side rooms at the Hamilton Convention Center, because I mean that sort of goes to, you know, Hamilton as a whole, right? The bones are solid, right? Even at FirstOntario, this is the complete rebuild. You know, a lot of stuff's going on inside. The bones are solid. Just needs to be worked on.
Totally, and I'm happy that you'd mentioned the music, because the Convention Center has hosted a lot of you know, musical events over the years, and you know, looking at, you know, an indoor space where 1,000 to 2,000 people can come for a concert, the lower room at the Convention Center is going to be prime for those types of musical events as well, where it's standing room, but you can have a great concert experience, similar to what certain venues in Toronto have done. They've got you know, the Velvet Underground history. There's a lot of venues, and so the Convention Center can be a type of venue like that can be a part of the music ecosystem in Hamilton as well.
Anytime something about the arena shows up on a GIC, people get interested, people pay attention, the YouTube streams go up of that meeting, but sometimes people's red flag goes up when something needs to be discussed in camera. There's been talks of secret deals that HUPEG has with the city. Is there a secret deal floating around or anything?
The master agreement's a public document. So we worked with the city on releasing that document. So secret's a misnomer. It's common business practice in any type of business dealing with municipalities and different business interests for some information to stay confidential. That's just kind of 101 types of business dealings. And so we're proud of the fact that now that master agreement is out there. It's in the public realm, and there's certain nuances to the deal that need to remain confidential just for certain privacy reasons and information that is
common practice.
Exactly.
So you're not getting undersold on what you're getting and things of that
for
nature.
sure. And the public should take comfort in knowing that this deal is great for the Hamilton taxpayer in that Ernst & Young did a study that said this deal will save taxpayers $155 million over 30 years. And now with the onboarding of OVG, that investment is now, where we had made a $50 million commitment, it's now, nearing $300 million. So this is a great deal for the taxpayers of Hamilton who are no longer needing to be subsidizing these entertainment assets any longer. And so this is a massive win. And we believe that this deal transcends politics or political ideologies. This is a true community building opportunity. And these are community assets that will be activated for the benefit of the entire community. And even though the facilities are downtown, they're going to be at service to the entire city and the entire region. So whether you live in Ancaster or Flamborough, Dundas or Stony Creek, you'll be able to come downtown to enjoy these wonderful Hamilton community assets, enjoy great music and great sport and restaurants in the core. And beyond just Hamiltonians, this will be a regional venue. So Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, the Niagara St. Catharines, the Burlington, Oakville, Guelph will be coming to Hamilton to enjoy these assets. And so this is this deal is more than the political moment of the day. This is a generational city building project that we're striving to make all Hamiltonians proud. And at the end of the day, these assets are a great way to bring community together. Similar to Tim Hortons Field, where it doesn't matter what your political leaning is or what your religion is. When you step foot into Tim Hortons Field, when you step foot into the new renovated arena, it's Hamiltonians coming together as one. And so it is a great way to build community and to transcend all the political rhetoric of the day.
And we started with pride for the city of Hamilton. I think it's appropriate we wrap up there in pride for Hamilton. Speaking of pride, people don't see this. You walked in with a boot because you didn't run the half marathon, but we should give a shout out to a very special someone in your life who did run.
So wife Diana did finish the half marathon in 1 hour 51 minutes for the Road to Hope and Hamilton Marathon. That's a great event. So it was her first time running a half marathon. She ran it with my cousin Marissa and her husband Aaron. I was supposed to be the fourth, but I crutched my way to the finish line from the Hutch's parking lot, and I got 10,000 crutch steps in that day.
Wow.
So even though I've got a boot on, you wouldn't know that you could get 10,000 steps.
Couple of bruises under the
armpits. But Diana did a great job, and then we had a victory lunch at Radius in Hess Village afterwards to celebrate that run.
I think I saw on Instagram she caught the bug now too, so you got to catch up now.
Yeah.
You got to catch
She's
up.
already talking about the Around the Bay.
Oh wow, that's a big one. That's the natural progression.
I got to heal up the ankle and foot so that way I can get into some Around the Bay training.
PJ, I know you're a very busy man, so I appreciate you making the time coming up to visit us today. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
All right. PJ Mercanti is the CEO of Carmens Group. He's also the president of HUPEG, the Hamilton Urban Precinct Entertainment Group. Of course, we've been talking about that a lot on the show, and we'll be talking about it a lot on the show as we continue towards that new 2025 Q4 opening. All right. I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank PJ for joining me. I want to thank you for listening as well. I want to thank Mike Corson for directing today's show. And hey, while you're here, make sure you like and subscribe to CHCH Podcasts so you never miss an episode of this show or any of the other great shows we have for you from all of us here at CHCH. I'm Louie Butko. Have a great day.